Hey guys, Deju22 here, and welcome to SmackDown. And this show is brought to you by MuchGames.ca, and when you think of the rivalries that have taken place since 2008, one that comes to mind is John Cena and Randy Orton. For the better part of 2009, in fact the second half of 2009, you had two of the most popular superstars in World Wrestling Entertainment go at each other, and for the most part John Cena took control of the rivalry, but even then Randy Orton was not to be denied. This time around you have a last man standing match between Cena and Orton, and we'll find out which one is indeed the better man. Will it be the leader of the C Nation, or will it be the Apex Predator? Find out next. Oops, forgot to unmute that. My mistake. Anyway, let's get on to this matchup. Very simple matchup. It's kind of like boxing. You have to knock your opponent out for the count of 10. Anything less than that will not give you the win. There are no pinfalls, no submissions, no countouts, no disqualifications, and the only way to win is by knockout for the count of 10. It can take place in the ring, it can take place outside of the ring, it does not matter. Anything can be used. And these men can do pretty much anything they wanted to do with each other. In fact, they can do things that they normally would never do in a normal matchup, but this is anything but a normal matchup, and these two men are anything but normal. But with that in mind, we'll find out which one of these two will win. Now bear in mind that John Cena is the United States champion, and of course a win over John Cena could put Randy Orton in the driver's seat for a shot at the United States Championship if Randy Orton so chooses to go that route. But even then, there's no telling what Randy Orton is capable of doing. I mean, you don't know what he'll want unless he tells you straight up. Then again, Randy Orton's one whose actions speak louder than words. And as for John Cena, he talks the talk and he walks the walk. That's the difference between the two men. And a super hip toss on to Randy Orton. So if anything, this is kind of like a real wrestling match. I mean, and as far as strategy for either one of these two men, there is no strategy in this case, because I'm not too particularly worried about either one. Why? Because these two know what they must do to win. The question is, how are they going to do it? Well, even then, they don't know how, but they know what they must do. And they know what must be done in order to be done. I mean, these two are evenly matched. And John Cena just going for a boxing rush, and wait a minute. A fisherman suplex onto Randy Orton. Excuse me, I had a little too much to eat earlier, but anyways, moving on. And an Orton Thez press, that's what he calls it. It's usually modeled after the Lou Thez press. For those who don't know, Lou Thez was one of the greatest champions, and he was a wrestler's wrestler. He could wrestle you and do moves like that, but really it was the Lou Thez press that he innovated. In fact, he won plenty of matches with that, because it was such a unique move, and it was a very devastating move at the time. I mean, it may not be so devastating nowadays, but back then, it was such an innovation that nobody could stop it. I mean, you knew it was coming, but you still couldn't stop it. That's the mark of a great move. A great finishing move, I should say. Ooh, and a punch right to the face of Randy Orton. Now he picks up Randy Orton. And the fans, I'm not sure if you can hear, but John Cena's pissed. But he gets thrown over the top rope. Oh, and then a DDT right back in the ring. And as Matthew Cole's brother, Michael, would always say, vintage Orton. You know what? I really don't know how to do a good Michael Cole impression. You know why? Because I'm not Michael Cole. I'm to Jew 22, damn it. And I'm going to be myself. Because that's the way it should be. Good water, man. A Luthez press with punches onto Orton. I mean, these two will do what they need to do, so you just have to enjoy the fight for what it is. As Orton throws Cena over the top rope and onto the floor, now both men are on the floor as Cena got rammed into the steel steps. And Cena actually is down, although Randy Orton decides to pick him up. Unless Orton is planning to do something, I don't know why you would... Yeah, that was a bad idea. I mean, either you had to finish him, or why would you pick him up? Although Cena got rammed into the steps again and falls down. There we go. I'm trying to adjust the seat here, or the camera. Okay, there we go. Rammed into the steel steps again is Cena. Slowly but surely, Randy Orton has taken advantage, or has taken control of this match. I'm not sure what Randy Orton is trying to do to John Cena, but I believe Cena has had enough. Rammed into the barricade. Then a headbutt onto Randy Orton. Then he picks up Orton again, or he just picks him up, and a fisherman suplex, this time on the floor. Let me tell you something. The floor is much more dangerous than that in the ring, because there's only 2 inches of padding and there's hardly any give whatsoever. Then a headbutt onto John Cena. Picks up John Cena, throws him into the corner of the barricade, and I don't know what more these guys can do to each other, and Cena just got speared through the barricade. But the question is, will it keep Cena down? I don't know. No, instead, Randy Orton decides to pick him up. But yeah, he whips him into the steps, but ricocheted into the apron, barely missing the pole. But even then, the apron is not exactly a soft landing now. As the referee counts down, is that it for Cena? No, Cena gets up at the count of 8. So the match is still alive. The match is still going. And I have to think that Randy Orton cannot believe that John Cena managed to hold on. But both men are back in the ring, and that's probably the safest place they can be. And a surfboard stretch, but however, there are no submissions in this match. Even if Randy Orton taps out, that's not going to give him the win. Though he could incapacitate him. Yeah, Randy Orton is nodding that he wants to give up, but there again, you cannot win by submission. So the match continues. Then a European uppercut onto John Cena. And Orton is doing the Orton pose. And Orton, or rather Cena, if he's not going to get up, no, he does not. I guess John Cena took too big of a beating and was only able to stay in the match for just a little bit before finally succumbing to the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Just a classic matchup between these two, and they put everything they could, and John Cena, I mean, to be fair, I mean, he did get speared through the barricade by, excuse me, he did get speared through the barricade by Randy Orton, and even John Cena could not last very long. I mean, granted, he lasted longer than most normal men would, but even so, he didn't have much longer to last against Randy Orton, whose mouth is open for some odd reason. But anyways, stay tuned for the next match. That'll be coming up right after this.